Okay, today I am going to tell you hopefully everything that you could possibly need to know about getting a bus in Italy. Um, it can take a lot more planning and knowledge than riding a train can. And I have to say, the first time that you do it, or the first few times that you do it, you just kind of want to do it just to see what it's like. Because if you have to go like work somewhere and you get on a bus, I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong. It's not even worth going for it unless you sort of know what you're doing because so many things can go wrong. So, my theory on Italian buses is be adventurous, but don't be stupid. If you don't speak any Italian at all, I would not take a bus. We did that when we first came to Italy, and we could say hello and goodbye, but usually we would forget what we were doing when we were speaking to people because it was so complicated and we didn't know very much. So getting on a bus was not the best idea at that point in time. So I really don't suggest it unless you can at least say a few things and you know what to say if you get into a tricky situation, like if you miss your stop and you realize you're in a different town completely. You sort of need to be able to say, well, when is this bus going back? What time? How can I possibly get back to the town that I'm supposed to be in, etc. So don't get in that situation. Okay, getting your ticket. Uh, there are different companies per region. Unfortunately, I wish I could just tell you the bus company. For Liguria, which is where I live, it is called TPL Linea. Sorry, you can't even see that, but anyways, that's the name. Here, I'll put it up close so you can see what it looks like in case you live here. That is what it looks like, and it always has that little, I don't know, those circle things. If you happen to live in Liguria, that's useful. If not, I'm sorry, it's not very useful. But anyways, find out what the company is called. It's usually marked somewhere on the buses. And then go looking for cafes and tobacco shops that have the company sign on their door. They'll usually have it there with a billion other ads for things. So, good luck looking for it. But they're usually the cafes and tobacco shops that are near the bus stops. So that should make it easier, right? If you can manage to find a bus stop, which they are not marked well. They are often not marked very well. So, look for main roads. If you see a bus on that road, it's probably a main road. um, and then just look for random little, you basically need to look for that little mark again, because somewhere that little brand should be on a sign. But as I say, good luck. Let me see. Da, 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 da. Oh, also, be sure that if you're trying to get used to everything, be sure that you know the closing times of the cafe or the tobacco shop where you get tickets from. Because a lot of times you'll just think, okay, well, I'll go get my ticket for this, but then they'll be closed like on a Monday or something, or they'll close at 8 or something, and you're just like, oh, crud, I was supposed to get my ticket for tomorrow morning before they open, etc. So be sure, just be safe, play it safe, always get your stuff way in advance so that you can, not miss your bus completely. Um, let's see. Oh, when you get a ticket, the only thing that you have to be able to say is un biglietto a, and then the town name, which is, or due biglietti. It depends on, and I'll put that all underneath here so that you can see it. Um, for the town that you want, you have to tell them the town because it changes. They'll change the ticket based on the town. So short tickets, it will say at the bottom here. Will all I think almost always, now I could be wrong because I've only lived in 2 regions, but there should be a number here on here somewhere. Mine says 90 minutes. And I think almost all of them say 90 minutes. So you can basically use one ticket anywhere in the zone. Now they assume that you're going to the town and then just coming back. So you can use the ticket to go anywhere in that zone for 90 minutes. So you may just need one. But if you have to get two. Just be safe. I would be safe. If you think it's going to be cutting it close, get two. That way you don't have to be scrambling around in the next town that you're in looking for a bar, a cafe, or whatever. Let me see. Finding your bus. Okay, timetables are not always in place. A lot of times there will only be one timetable for one bus that goes through there when there are several buses. So If you can, try to find a website. If you're able to navigate in Italian, try to find a website for your bus company, and try to work stuff out like that. It takes a really long time, though, to figure out their websites. They are not easy to use. It's ridiculous how long it took me to figure out this one. I don't know why. I mean, you basically have to know the whole route of a bus, which, what good is that if you if you already know the whole route of the bus? What good is that? What do you need the website for? But anyways, it can be a little bit difficult, but just try to work out the website if there's even one. I'm not even sure that all the bus companies will have a website. So or you could ask the person who sold you the ticket where the timetable is, or actually they might even know the times of the buses, but it can be a lot easier, especially if you don't speak Italian very well, if you just find um, the bus schedule. So to say that, you say dov'è l'orario, which I'll write down below again. On the schedule, there will be two types of bus things, which might be hard to see at first. One will be um, feriale, which is the normal time, and then I can't remember what the other one's called. Oh no, it's probably something really easy in Italian that I can't think of, which is why I didn't even put it down here. Anyways, it basically just means vacation, or not vacation, holiday times, because the buses obviously don't run as often on holidays. But of course, if you don't know what the Italian holidays are, you're not going to know that on December 8th, the buses aren't going to be running the same. So, anyways, just check that out, and be aware of that. Unless you can get really easily a calendar of the Italian holidays, which you can probably find online actually pretty easily, then you're not going to know. But I suggest having one of those if you're actually living here and trying to get used to Italy. Get a calendar for the Italian holidays. It just helps a lot to know. Right, there's a holiday I forgot. Who knew? Um, let's see. So watch out for those bus times. They're also slightly complicated because a lot of times they'll have winter schedules, summer schedules, and then just all year buses. So be sure that you look. They're starting to get well, in our region anyways. They're starting to get color coded for winter, summer. So at least you notice that, hey, this must be different. It's a different color, right? So check out what the winter and the summer are. Again, you have to know the Italian for what winter and summer means. So there's lots of things that I'm not even thinking about that are on these schedules that you're just going to have to know Italian for, which is why I say, if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have anybody helping you, um, you know, go for it, try it out, but I would do it definitely during the daytime, because if you get stuck on a bus in the evening or at night, you know, it gets a little bit scary sometimes if you don't speak Italian. You don't want to be in another town and not be able to get back. So, um, let's see. Oh, also, buses often have strikes in Italy, but they're always posted so that you don't actually have to have any major problems, which kind of I feel defeats the purpose of a strike. But but that's the way we do it here in Italy. So they will post a notice on the bus. Maybe if you're lucky, they'll post a notice on the bus. They should. Otherwise, if they have a website, it should be on their website at least a day or two in advance. Otherwise, I have often, oh my goodness, so many times just been sitting at a bus stop waiting, 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 and then realizing, oh, I guess the bus isn't coming. It took me ages to work out that it was because they were on strike. But unfortunately, sometimes when the buses go on strike, so do the trains. So, as I say, the only way that you can know that is if you hear people talking about it, if they have a website, or if you notice the notices on the bus, which after a while you'll get used to if you're having to write it every day. But if you're not writing it every day and it's just a random thing, you never know. You never know when there's going to be a strike. So just sort of be willing to sort of go with the flow with the buses, because that's pretty much what you have to do to get by. Let's see. Finding your stop can be really tricky. Um, the first place that we lived in, we were in a really small town, and they just said, the bus stop, it's next to the brown door. And that was it. That was the bus stop. The bus stop was the brown door. I don't know what the brown door was, or why they couldn't bother to stick a little sign up, or at least put a poster on the door that said bus stop or whatever. But no, just the brown door. Everybody knows it's the brown door. That's what it is. Um, Every place that we have here has some sort of marking, I think. Um, but then we're in Liguria, which is different. The South is really different. They're going to have a lot more of that, just by the brown door, oh, by the bar over there, or etc. So finding your bus can be a little bit tricky. Just sort of, again, go with the flow. Do it. Go on the buses in the mornings when you're first doing it, in the afternoons, but not even in the early evenings. I wouldn't risk it because we did risk it, and people just made it seem like, oh, just get the bus, and that's what they, and then they would say, you have to get a ticket. Actually, I don't even think anybody told us to get a ticket in a bar. We thought we could just go, to the bus stop. There would be machines there where we could buy tickets for the bus, or no, or that we could buy it on the bus. No, no, ridiculous, totally ridiculous. We had no idea what we were doing. Um, okay. Be sure, if you want to be sure, if you're going somewhere you've never been, I almost always ask the driver, does this bus go to dot dot dot? And I ask him to tell me, or her to tell me, when we get there, because, how do I know when we get there? I don't know where we're going. So to say that, you say va a, which is really easily, plus the town, va Genoa, etc. And then to say, can you tell me when we get there? You say, potrebbe dirmi quando arriviamo, which, whatever. If you say it really badly, they might understand you, they might not, but they should. I mean, um, just give it a go. I'll write it down below, so if nothing else, you can write it and then show it to them. Let's see. A lot of buses do not stop unless you ding the bell. A lot of times there aren't even bells to ring. So sometimes you might even have to tell the bus driver that you need to get off. And the way that you say that is devo scendere qui, or scendo qui, something like that, to get them to stop the bus. But again, if you don't know where you're going, you might just have to ask them. Now, unfortunately, sometimes the bus drivers are like, well, I don't really know where you want to get off in that town. So they'll say something to you, be like, I don't know, which is again why I say you need some Italian if you're going somewhere you've never been before. Um, let's see. If there is a bus coming by, like you're waiting for your bus when you're returning or whatever, and you're not sure if it's your bus or not, and you feel like you're hesitating and you don't want to wave them down and stop a whole bus, because you're embarrassed, or you don't know that it's your bus and you don't want to stop all those people and waste their time, stop the bus. You do not want to let a bus go by if you are trying to get on a bus, because it probably is your bus. And if it goes by, you could be stuck somewhere for 2 or 3 hours waiting and waiting, because another bus, especially if you're in a small town, another bus is not going to come by. So when in doubt, wave the bus down, ask the driver. They are not going to be annoyed, or, even if they act slightly annoyed, they're not really annoyed, because an Italian would do that. An Italian would wave them down and ask, is this the bus for Albenga or whatever? So stop the bus. Don't hesitate, because you will really be in a mess if you hesitate with these things. You got to ask questions. You got to sort of put yourself out there, etc. Um, which was really hard for us to do in the beginning, because we didn't know, we were so hesitant, we didn't want to stop people, etc. But you can't be like that. Really, you can't be like that. It's so much better to ask than to be left stranded for 2 or 3 hours or more. Um, okay, let's see. Da, 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 da. Buses are often late. Buses often just don't show up, especially more in the south than in the north. But I've had buses here just not come before. Presumably, I don't know, they didn't have enough bus drivers or something that day, so that bus just couldn't run. I don't know, but it does happen. So just kind of get used to that. Some days you're just gonna have to be like, sorry, I couldn't make it today. The bus didn't come. Or you're going to be like an hour late because you have to rearrange stuff. Small towns will sometimes only have a bus that comes to them in the morning and goes back at night. So again, I really don't suggest going to those really small towns if you're not used to the bus system. Or, I mean, if you speak perfect Italian, you can get around. And you can find out all these things. But if your Italian is not perfect, I do not suggest going to a really small town on a bus, because there's probably only one other bus that's back. If you miss that bus, now, you know what? Actually, in Italy, if you act like you're totally stranded and you really don't know what to do, somebody will probably pick you up. Somebody will probably say, well, I'm going there anyways. You know, if you're walking along the road, they'll probably stop and ask you if you want to ride, which is a little bit spooky. And, you know, yeah, a lot of people don't really want to be doing that. But if you're okay with that, you know, I mean, especially in the South, it happens all the time. People will just pick you up and take you back, and you know, they'll be really friendly and stuff like that. So, nobody's going to like leave you out to die, because you know, Italians are really, well, I don't want to say I don't want to be all stereotypical, but you know, there's not loads of people just on the streets dying here. So, if somebody sees that you're really desperate and you need help, you know, they're going to give you help. So. Let's see here. If you do live in Italy and you don't know this yet, you can get travel cards. They look like this. Well, actually, mine looks like this because this is my region, but presumably yours will look different. But you can get this thing. It's called an abbonamento, and I don't remember what you need for this to first get it. Now, obviously you need a picture. The size of this picture, I don't know what it is. Okay, I'm looking at it. It's probably about an inch and a half by an inch and a half, but I don't know what that is in centimeters. So something about that size, which comes in all, there's randomly those photo booths around all Italian towns. Just go there and get the pictures for the passports, which are really good to have because you just constantly need pictures for things here. So, so go get a bunch of those. Take them to you buy this at the cafe where you buy or the tobacco shop, wherever you buy your tickets, you can get these. So get this, it's way cheaper if you have to travel about, um, I'm not sure, it depends how many times you're traveling and stuff, but this, you know, this covers me for a month. I can travel anywhere inside the zone that I need to travel in for 33 euros. So it is way better than buying tickets because I travel almost every day to this other town. So anyways, it lasts for a year, and then once you get it, you just keep renewing it, and the only thing you need to renew it is a picture because they know you and they trust you after the first year. But I'm not sure what you have to get this at the beginning. You might have to have some sort of ID, maybe your passport or something. I can't really remember. But you definitely have to know your address and probably your phone number, things like that. So, but I don't think they don't ask you for your fiscal code, you know, which is called a codice fiscale, which everybody has and everybody throws around just like nothing. But anyways, I'm sorry that this went on for so long, but as I say, the bus system is more complicated. If you have any questions, you know, I'll probably leave the comment section open for this one, so you can just leave me your questions and I will answer them as best I can. Thanks, bye.